Good morning. This is going to be a quick little video about polygons. So, polygons are defined in 3.3 as a closed plane figure made up of three or more line segments that intersect only at their endpoints. So, I want to kind of clue into line segment. So, a line segment means that every single one of these sides will be part of a line. And since you have these sides over here that are part of a curve, these would not be polygons. The other thing says intersect only at their endpoints. So that means here, that's the endpoint of these segments. You come over here, you have this segment, but they intersect in the middle. And so this would not be a polygon. Okay, so those are some important facts and ideas about polygons. You see that polygons can take different shapes. They can be like this here. You could have, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is an octagon. Another example of an octagon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops. Okay, so this is another example of an octagon. Okay, so the other one's much better. Okay, but this would be called, this would be concave because it goes, if like looking here, it goes inside, it kind of caves in. This would be convex. From any points to non-consecutive points, you look and the third point's on the outside of it. So this is convex. Not that that's going to make a lot of difference on this particular one, but you can kind of see that concave and convex are both polygons. So that's just some terminology for you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with what it is that we're going to be learning now. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the interior angle measures. So that's all of the sides, all of the angles added together. So we already know just from the lessons that we've already done that if you add all the interior angles of a triangle, angle 1, we'll call it angle B, A, angle B, angle C. So angle A plus angle B plus angle C is going to equal 180. And so we know that already, that is established. And a triangle is a polygon. Okay, so but what about what other polygons would add up to? Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Um, there's a rule that's going to apply to this, so we'll talk about that rule, and then see how to use it. So it says here the sum of the interior angle measures of a polygon with insides, so that could be any number of sides, is this equation. So I take that number of sides, I subtract 2, I times it by 180, multiply by 180. So that's applies here as well, that 180. How do I know that? Because a triangle has 3 sides. So it has 3 sides. So I'm going to take that number of sides, 3, subtract 2, multiply by 180. Oh, wait, 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 times 180 is 180. And so, in fact, when you look at this, finding the angle measure is based on triangles. So, for example, I have this lovely example down here, and it is a crosswalk sign, school crossing sign. Okay, and so in that school crossing sign, we see that I got to change color. We see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles, 5 sides. It's pentagon. All right, so what happens if I just like try to connect these here to see how many triangles there are? 1, 2, 3. So there's 5 sides. But if I connect one of these vertices to these non-consecutive vertices, meaning they're not next door, I create 1, 2, 3 triangles. And every triangle is 180. 1, 2, 3. Those would add up to 180. 1, 2, 3. Those would add up to 180. 1, 2, 3. Those would add up to 180. So it's a 5-sided figure, but there's only 3 triangles. And so you're going to find that throughout all of the polygons, that the number of triangles will always be 2 less than the number of sides. And every triangle is 180, so that's why we multiply by 180. So this whole formula is based on that idea of triangles and how many triangles are in that. All right, so let's just go back to this. Okay, so n minus 2 times 180. So here, find the sum of the interior angles of a school crossing sign. So we have 5 sides. So that's what n is. I'll put n. So the total, the sum of the interior angles of a polygon of n sides is going to be n, which is 5 in this case, minus 2 times 180. So s equals 3 times 180. And then we've got 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 8 is 24, carry, so that's 54. And yes, you can use a calculator for that. That's basic stuff. You're not going to plug into the calculator, 5 sides, and then it's going to pop 540. You got to know what to put in there. And so that's the basic idea of what we're doing today. So here's another example. Okay, so we go and count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 sides. So S equals n minus 2, so 7 minus 2 times 180. So S equals 5 times 180, and then you do the math and use a calculator, whatever. So 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 8 is 40, carry the 4, 5, 9. So 900. So the sum of the interior angles is 900 degrees. Okay. So one last example of how to use this. Okay, so we know now that all of the interior angles, if we add them together, it's going to be, 900 or 540. So what's another application? Some of the problems are simply going to ask that. So you have to know. Oh, but we have these lovelies. So what does that mean? Well, you have to find the missing angle. And there's only one missing angle, and it doesn't get too crazy, not like some of the ones you guys have been looking at for the last few days. But you don't know what S is. You don't know what the sum is going to be. So you have to find that first. So step 1, we're going to find the sum. Then we're going to set up the equation and solve. Okay, so I've got to find out the sum. So the first thing I have to know is how many sides are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, this is like the last one. So guess what? There's going to be some things that repeat. So this has 7 sides. We've already done this. 7 sides, kind of look up there. It's not going to change. It's not going to be different, but I'll set it up, but it's not going to be different. So it's going to be 7 minus 2, that's 5. 5 times 180 is still going to be 900. And so that's the first step. So if you're lucky, then you'll have some that repeat and can use those. Okay, so then what do? Well, we set up the equation. So that means that 140, and this is where the calculator would be nice, plus 145, plus 115, plus 120, plus 130, plus 128, plus x equals 900. And some of you are saying, I'm just going to add that up before I even put that down. Okay. So you're going to add all that up. Then you're going to have a calculator available on the assignment. I did make that available. So we got 140 plus 145 plus 115 plus 120 plus 130 plus 128 equals. So that's 778 plus x equals 900. Now I would do this a couple times because when you're adding that many numbers, you could make a mistake. So you just want to make sure. So then you take 900, subtract 778. So x equals 122. So that's what that angle would be. Okay, so you're basically adding them up, subtracting them, just like you would with the triangles, but the triangles you subtract from 180, and these you have to, in this case, subtract from 900. So you just have to pay attention to what it's going to be for that one. Okay, so this last one example. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So the sum of the angles is 4 minus 2 times 180. So S equals 2 times 180. I'm going to reverse the parentheses there. I did a little associative there. And that is 360. So all quadrilaterals, all four-sided figures add up to 360. Okay, so that's part of it. That is not our answer, though. This is our final answer over here. X equals 122 degrees. Okay, so that's not our final answer here. Okay, so now we have to add those up. So I've got X plus 115 plus 80 plus, and this is that key one. You need to know that symbol. That is a right angle, so that is 90 equals 360. And so some of you would say, well, why am I writing that down if I could just add those up? 115 plus 80 plus 90. And like I said, add it a couple times. Make sure you don't make mistakes. Always sometimes, put stuff in wrong or hit subtract instead of add and not notice. Okay, so 360. Another way I would maybe do this is just to check my work. I would add it all together and set it up like this, and then subtract 360. X equals 75. And then maybe I would, sometimes I would say, okay, it's 360. So I just put 360 in and say minus 115, minus 80, minus 90. And see if I get the same thing. Guess what? I got the same thing. Yay. So that's how you do the problems for today. Sum of the interior angles of a polygon. So we are doing 3.3, 1 through 14 on Big Ideas Math. And that will show up actually in the Google Classroom as a list item. So you'll know what you need to do with that. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day.